He continued to lure unsuspecting men from bars or solicited prostitutes whom he then drugged, raped, and strangled. At this point, though, Dahmer also began carrying out particularly disturbing acts with their corpses, continuing to use the bodies for intercourse. Yeah, that's that necrophilia shit, you know, having sex with corpses, having sex with dead bodies, you know, digging them out their graves and shit, and then having sex with them, man. That's some sick shit that only Esau can do, man. That's some sick shit that's in the white man's nature, man. It's in the white man's spirit to do shit like that. Dig up a dead body and have sex with it, you know. Shit got embalming fluid and everything, but this motherfucker having sex with a corpse. That's Esau, man. It's a so-called white man, you know. But it says, continue to use the bodies for intercourse, taking photographs of the dismemberment process, preserving with scientific precision his victims' skulls and genitals for display, and even retaining parts for consumption. So he was eating these motherfuckers. He would save body parts in the freezer, and then when he feel like eating them, he would go and cook them and eat them, man. That was Esau. That's Esau, man. So-called white man. Cooking up body parts and eating them. And saving them. He eating genitals, man. And y'all still think this man ain't the fucking devil? Cutting motherfuckers' genitals out, putting them in a bag and freezing them, and then cooking them the next day and eating it. And this is the man. This is the man that's ruling over our nation. You know? This is the man that's ruling over our nation. You know what I'm saying? And let me go into this real quick. I'm gonna bring this scripture out. And it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person, it's Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. You know, the scriptures call Esau profane, you know. And when you go into that word profane, you look up the definition for that word profane. It says showing no respect for God or religion. You know, it says often through language, blasphemous, you know. So they basically are saying that they against God, man. They are adversary towards the Most High, man. You know, a profane person is someone who doesn't respect any type of religion, or they don't respect any type of spiritual or divine higher power. You know, they don't respect someone. Like if a God created you, they don't respect them. You know, if a divine entity created you, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to serve that God. But Esau, he like, nah, man, I'm gonna do it. I'm my own God. I can build my own God with AI and shit like that. That's Esau. It's in his spirit. The Lord created him to be the wicked, man, and that's what he gonna be. So it ain't no saving this fucking devil. You know, these Christians, they got it fucked up. You cannot save this man. He twisted. His soul is upside down, man. You know? He's doomed. He's the vessel fit for destruction, as the scriptures say. You know? So that's what profane is, man. You know? Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So he didn't give a fuck about a God. He didn't give a fuck about the kingdom. He didn't give a fuck about religion. You know, he like, hey, man, I don't need this shit. I'm my own God. You know what I'm saying? But now what you see now, he fighting so hard to get that birthright back. But hey, he ain't gonna get it. You know, cause he profane. He don't respect the higher power, man. Hey, but the Lord said every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess, man. So hey, at the end of the day, this motherfucker is gonna acknowledge that it's a higher power and that he gonna have to respect him. You see? So like I said, man, he was preserving with scientific precision his victim's skull, genitals, and even retaining parts for consumption, man. He was saving parts to eat off these people, man, on some what's that movie, Jeepers Creepers? You know how Jeepers Creepers sniff you out? You know, sniff out certain parts in your body that he want? That's Esau, man. That whole movie is about Esau. Cause Esau gonna sniff out parts that he like in your body. He gonna cut them out and he gonna save them for later and then cook them up the next day. That's what Jeffrey Dahmer was doing, man, and that's Esau for you. You know? And it says during this period, Dahmer was arrested for an incident at his job at the chocolate factory where he drugged and sexually fondled a 13-year-old boy. For this, he was given a sentence of 5 years probation, 1 year at a work release camp, and was required to register as a sex offender. So, you know, he was molesting little boys and shit, man. Straight faggot, man. And that's in Esau nature to be like that. Having sex with animals and all kind of shit. You know? All kind of shit, man. And it says, let me go into this real quick. It says, let me see. I'm trying to see where I left off at. It's ready. Okay. And it says he was released 2 months early from the work program and subsequently moved into a Milwaukee apartment in May of 1990. And it says there, despite regular appointments with his probation officer, he will remain free to commit 4 murders that year and 8 more in 1991. So when he got into that apartment, he finally got his own space, man. He went crazy. You know, his neighbors said they heard saws go all through the night, drills, all kind of shit, man. He was cutting and mutilating bodies up next door, you know, next door to one of his neighbors, man. He didn't give a fuck. You know, they gave testimony and said that they heard drills and bone saws throughout the whole night, and saws, they heard people screaming. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Esau was in there living his best life. Esau was he was in his I don't know what word I'm looking for, but he was in his natural environment. Esau was in his natural environment with all them body parts and shit scattered everywhere. And it says Dahmer began killing around 1 person each week. By the summer of 1991, he became infatuated with the idea that he could turn his victims into zombies. You know? Esau, wicked, sick, perverse. Turn his victims into zombies to act as youthful and submissive sexual partners. So he basically wanted to turn his victims into zombies to act as sick sexual slaves that he can control, man. You know? And what are the elites doing? The elites are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to make everybody into slaves. They're trying to have control over everybody that's on the earth. And, you know, and that's what Esau doing. So on a small level, Jeffrey Dahmer was trying to play God, man. So that's in their spirit. On a small level, you know, these elites, they doing it on the larger level. You know, they're trying to get everybody chipped and control them, you know, through money and through their livelihood. But Jeffrey Dahmer, he was doing it on a smaller level, man. He was trying to turn his victims into sexual slaves. He was trying to, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to play God in a way on a smaller level. So it says zombies act as useful and submissive sexual slaves. He used many different techniques, such as drilling holes into their skull and injecting hydrochloric acid or boiling water into their brains. So he was in there doing experiments. You know what I'm saying? He was in there having fun, man. Killing all these faggots, you know, having sex with them, you know, drilling holes in their head and doing all different types of experiments, mutilating their testicles and all kind of shit. You know, Esau. This is Esau, so-called white man. You know, injecting hydrochloric acid and boiling water into their brains. Neighbors began to complain about strange noises, you know, screaming, drills, and the bone saws, and awful smells coming from Dahmer's apartment. On one occasion, the lobotomized victim left unattended, even made it out onto the street to ask several bystanders for help. So one of his victims, you know what I'm saying, he drugged one of them, but he was strong enough to where he can still you know, he can still use his body to get out. You know what I'm saying? The drugs didn't really affect him too strongly to knock him out like the other victims. So he was able to get away. And when he did that, he asked for help. You know what I'm saying? And when Dahmer returned, however, he successfully convinced the police that the irrational young man was simply his extremely intoxicated boyfriend. You know, so he gave a 14-year-old. He convinced it was a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying, that he was in poverty. He was poor. You know, he didn't have enough money. So hey, Jeffrey Dahmer, he swooped in, convinced this young boy to come back to his apartment, and he was gonna take pictures of him. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna take pictures of him, and he was gonna give him money if he let him take pictures of him. So he convinced him to drink something and had drugs in it. So he started feeling the drugs. He started feeling the effects of the drugs. You know what I'm saying? But he was strong enough to fight it off a little bit and get away and ask for help. But he didn't really get far. You know, because the police, he convinced the police that he was intoxicated and that was his boyfriend. So the officers, hey, they gave the victim right back to him. Two stupid ass white police officers, two stupid ass white male Edomite cops, man, gave the victim that he was about to kill right back to him. And then later on, those cops, they got an award for that. Those same police officers got an award for that, man. That's crazy. And it says, the officers failed to run a background check that would have revealed Dahmer's sex offender status, allowing him to narrowly escape his fate for a little while longer. So, hey, basically, hey, that was really the Most High, man. The Most High really wanted some more of them faggots dead, you know? Because the Most High easily could have had them cops ask for his ID or anything like that. But what happened? Hey, the cops gave him back to him and they left. So, hey, that's really the Most High put the spirit on them cops to leave and not do a background check so that Jeffrey Dahmer can go out and kill some more of them faggots, some more of them wicked jakes, you know? And he killed a lot of them, man. He killed a lot of jakes, a lot of homo jakes, you know? And it says, on July 22nd, 1991, Dahmer lured Tracy Edwards into his home with the promise of cash in exchange for his company. So, you know, he was doing that same thing where he was telling them that he was going to give them cash if he let them take pictures of him, you know? And it says, while inside, Edwards was then forced into the bedroom by Dahmer with a butcher knife. During the struggle, Edwards was able to get free and escape out into the streets, where he flagged down a police car. When the police arrived at Dahmer's apartment, Edwards altered them to the knife that was in the bedroom. Upon entering the bedroom, the officers found the pictures of dead bodies and dismembered limbs that allowed them to finally place Dahmer under arrest, you know? So, man, hey, it took all of this. It took all of this for them to finally get this man. All of this. And because it was Jake's, because it was all Jake's, hey, they ain't give a fuck. All these black men missing, hey, and they ain't give a fuck about it. So they was all getting killed, you know? And I'm gonna go into another quick scripture real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to the article. It says, this is Habakkuk 2:4, and it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So it says his soul which is lifted up, because, you know, Esau, so-called white man, got a lot of pride. You know, he lifts his soul up, you know? But what the scripture say, it says, but his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So, hey, this man, hey, his you know what I'm saying, he got a crooked spirit. His spirit is upside down, man. This man is not right. Something is not right about this man. And you can tell just by looking at history. You know what I'm saying? All the evidence, all the way from then, all the way to now, you know that this man is something wrong with him. You know, he ain't like the other nations. This man is bloodthirsty and perverse. You see? But that's the nature of Esau, man. That is the nature of Esau, the so-called white man. You know? That's the nature of Esau, the so-called white man. And let me continue right here real quick. And it says, further investigation of the home led them to find a severed head in the refrigerator. 3 more severed heads throughout the apartment. Multiple photographs of the victims and more human remains in his refrigerator. So he had body parts, you know what I'm saying? He had body parts and shit all in his refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? He had a severed head in his refrigerator, and he had other severed heads just scattered out throughout the whole apartment. You know? So this man was fucked up. You know? But let me go back to this real quick. And it says multiple photographs of the victims and more human remains in his refrigerator. And it says a total of 7 skulls was found in his apartment, as well as a human heart in the freezer. Damn. If that ain't Esau, if they ain't the so-called white man, I don't know what is, man. This the type of stuff they was doing when we was in slavery. They was chopping us up, eating pieces off of us. You know what I'm saying? They was skinning us. They'll skin us and then make shoes, purses, you know. They'll make clothing out of our skin, man, after they skinned us. They was committing cannibalism too. They was using our body parts for different ingredients. You know what I'm saying? This man is sick, man. This man is sick, man.